Let's get it started in here. Welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, just start. It's real simple. Today, just start.
What are we going to do today?
We're just starting. We're just going to start.
Welcome back to the podcast. We're just these guys. We got Pastor Mike on the mic.
We got Dr. Parker in the house.
Here we go. We're getting started.
Oh, yeah. I love it when it's simple, but profound. And today's lesson is very simple, but man, is it a big deal. Just start.
Just start. And today is, the podcast drops Wednesday morning on the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
We record it Tuesday morning on the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Today is Election Day in America.
Yes, indeed. And a whole lot of opportunity tomorrow to either move forward or get stuck.
Right. When you are hearing this podcast, probably Wednesday, we won't actually know officially the candidate.
Right.
But it'll be leaning one way or the other, and people's emotions are going to run high. Hey! And our message to you is the battle's won.
Yeah. Yep. It's already won.
Doesn't matter who's in charge here, today, tomorrow. The battle's won. Focus on that. Focus on your purpose in life and get started. Get started.
I really, really am hopeful that it's going to be a very clear-cut victory. But if it's not, oh well. It is what it is. And the reality is we're not going to allow it to get us stuck in fear, because what we're talking about today is the fact that the first step, that thing that you've been putting off, that thing that you've been allowing fear to keep you from taking the first step, that's the thing that we want you to take the first step in today.
When we live in fear, when we live in doubt, worry, when we, come up with 82 different reasons why something won't work, we don't start.
Yep. When we think we've got to have it all figured out, we got to have all the steps already. We can see all the steps. When we can see the finish line, then we'll start. We'll never start. We'll never start.
I don't know if you ever had a nightmare.
Oh, yeah. A couple. 57 years old.
But when you wake up, during it feels real. Mm-hmm. And when you wake up, there's a moment or two oftentimes when it still feels real. And you don't want to close your eyes because you will be back in it and it feels real. It's your imagination.
Yep.
So your imagination feels like reality.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you think about becomes real. So when you tell yourself, I can't, it'll never get better, that won't work, guess what? It won't work. That's not going to happen. You can't do it. What you tell yourself, you end your dream before you begin.
Yep. I think it was Tony Robbins who said, the only impossible journey is the one you never start.
Boom.
Boom. That's pretty profound right there. Because the reality is this, that there is so much of life to be had, and yet we allow fear. There's a reason, and I don't know if it's actually a fact that in the Bible it says, do not fear 365 times. But let's just say it's somewhere close to that number. It's like God is telling us once a day. So he's telling us every day, don't fear. Quit living your life driven with fear. And so I like the saying, life by the inch is a cinch. Life by the yard is really hard. So just take one step.
One step.
Whatever that thing is that you've been putting off, whatever that deal is that you've been wanting to change. Change takes courage.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take as much courage as we think it does, because that's our stinking thinking. It takes one step.
And if you're out there today, upset or worried about the political environment or which direction the country is heading, whatever party you're kind of rooting for, that means you have dreams and goals for yourself, your family, your city, your country. And if you get too locked in on the results of this election, you're going to be giving yourself those negative images. You're going to be telling yourself things aren't working out. It's never going to get better. Things will never change, and you will quit. And whatever you fear then comes to be.
Yep.
So whatever your dreams are, whether it's in business or career or education or in relationships, focus on that dream and get started. Tony Robbins' quote is a kind of a spinoff of the great Chinese philosopher from the 4th century, Laozi, who said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
One step.
One step.
Yep. You know, they say that it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. But you can't finish unless you start.
Boom. That sounds like a Pastor Mike quote.
Well, it might not be, but we'll make it one time.
You heard it here, folks.
Steal from me, you're stealing twice.
Yeah.
So get started.
Yeah.
I mean, we could beat this horse to death, but the reality is, you, the listener out there, you know what it is that you have been hesitating on. You know the change that you want, but you haven't had the courage, or you have the courage. Listen, you have the courage, but you haven't taken the opportunity to just take one step, take one bite, like they say, eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Well, you have the courage, but what people don't realize is you also have fear.
Right.
And then people focus on the fear, and they're waiting for the fear to go away before they do something. Well, that's not courage. It doesn't take courage to do something that's not scary.
Sure.
Courage is doing something when you're afraid.
But it's also amazing how oftentimes...
That's a book by Joyce Meyer, by the way.
Yeah,
Do it afraid.
Do it afraid. How many times we will think that something is fearful, and then we'll do it and then look back and say, why did I fear that?
Right.
Because it was just all in my head. I allowed fear to own me.
You created the fearful situation in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And once you started imagining all the negative outcomes, then you became afraid of your imagination.
Yep.
Not the situation.
Yep. Ooh, that's good. That's good. I hope somebody's writing this stuff down. I hope this is being recorded.
Let me check.
Yeah.
Ready for recording.
Maybe not.
We're laying down some good stuff. This is the time we have the cameras off.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, so dang, I had a good thought. And then it just left me. Well, so last Sunday I was talking about worry. So it all kind of ties in together. And one of the scriptures, Isaiah 26:3, it says, trust in the Lord so deeply that even when your flesh wants to worry, your spirit holds on to his word and looks up in faith. And so maybe, just maybe, the first step is, as soon as your mind starts to move to worry, you're going to decide to worship. You're going to open up the word. You're going to start to meditate on his promises. You're going to meditate on his word. You're going to meditate on positive. You're going to meditate on I can, not I can't. And you're going to start to worship. And so maybe the first step is looking up.
Sure.
Sometimes the first step is literally changing just the perspective that you got.
Changing your focus from the fearful situation you're imagining it is or will be to leaning on his promise that you brought me here for a reason. You have a plan. It's a good plan. You came to prosper me, all these promises. So I'm going to trust in you and take the first step.
Yeah. The Lord is trustworthy. He is the one who is faithful.
And not you, Mike, but another Mike at church shouted out in one of my classes, you can't steer a car if it ain't moving.
Well, true.
And you got to start moving.
Yep.
You got to take the first step. then the steerage can occur.
There you go. Psalm 119, 105 says, Your word is a lamp to my feet, a light to my path. And man, what's cool about that though is that he didn't light up the destination.
Boom.
He lit up right here.
First step.
One step.
Take this step.
Yep.
And even on, simple, mundane tasks, this philosophy works. Mark Twain said the secret of getting ahead is getting started.
Yep. There you go.
The secret to getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable chunks and then starting the first one.
Mm.
And you've been a living witness to this.
Oh, yeah.
Because last year when you started coming in here,
I wonder where you were going.
The first floor looked a certain way. And then you walk in one Tuesday and a wall is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walked in a couple of Tuesdays later and the ceiling is scraped.
Yeah.
And you walked in and I don't have time to take off work for a month to remodel an entire kitchen, dining room, living room, hallway, stairwell, but I can do a little bit each day.
Yep.
And the key was just getting started.
Yeah.
Once you knock down a wall, well,
here we
no
go.
going back.
Here we go.
I stepped out and stand up in the board meeting and say it out loud. There's no going back.
Yeah. And I walked in today.
Enroll in the class.
Yep. And I walked in today and I'm observing some new designs on the walls and stuff, some decoration going on. And so, yeah, it's been a really cool observation of watching your progression. And
well, once I got started, then that allowed Tish to get started because she couldn't do what she wanted to do until I got done some of the major kind of construction elements of it. Yeah. Now that I got started, she could get started, and that's what she does. She comes in every day, kind of looks around and decides what she wants to do next.
Yep.
And
so to the listener out there, it may very well be a room. Something is going to make you feel so much better because you take a step in the right direction. And it may be a room that you want to just get cleaned up. It might be a room that is so cluttered that is a microcosm of your life. That is a picture of what's going on in your head. And maybe cleaning that room up is what's going to start to set you free. So your new focus and your new perspective is going to go from prison to power. And so it starts with simple things like that life by the inch, which is a cinch. Get started.
And I hear it all the time. It's like, I want to get my degree, but I got to, go to work and I, have to enroll and then I'll have to figure out a way to make time. And they kill themselves before they begin. And Lawrence of Arabia, a great movie. There was a quote from the movie that big things have small beginnings.
There you go.
So it doesn't matter what you do to start, just start. Take that first step, see how it goes, then look for the second step.
Just quit thinking about it and do it. Take that first step.
Take the first step.
Here we go.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in to Just These Guys,
Good stuff, Doc. Thank you today. Go do it. Don't just listen to this and then move on. Take this and put it into action. Act like you're skydiving, and once you jump out of that plane, there ain't no turning back.
Just take the first step and jump.
Yep. Have an awesome week.
See you guys.